This book is called Too Many Leprechauns, or How That Pot of Gold Got to the End of the Rainbow, and it's written by Stephen Krensky. So thank you, Stephen, for this book. And reading with us is Mr. Leprechaun. You ready to read? Let's do it. Finn O'Finnigan. That's a very Irish name. Finn O'Finnigan looked like a rogue. Do you know what rogue means? Rogue is like a villain or like a bad guy. So he looked like a rogue, and he walked like a rascal. A rascal's somebody who makes mischief. So it was widely thought that he was at least one or the other. And his shadow, which followed him closely and knew all of his secrets, might have said that he was both. But when Finn returned home to Dingle after a year in Dublin, he was only looking to rest his feet and grow fat on his mother's soda bread. The village looked much as he had left it. The stone walls were a bit wobbly, the house was leaning into the wind, and yet something was clearly amiss. At his own house, Finn was surprised to find his mother cleaning up broken dishes with a broom. Mrs. O'Finnigan let out a great yawn. Oh. So here you are, Finn, and it would be glorious to see you, if only I could keep my eyes open. Look how tired she is. But the leprechauns are everywhere making fairy shoes with that infernal tapping, and none of us have slept in weeks. At that moment, Finn heard a steady tap, tap, tap in the yard, and he stepped outside to investigate. Oh, you see the little leprechaun? Okay. In the garden, a leprechaun named Dob was hard at work. Tap, 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 tap. Good day, said Finn. Dob scowled at him. Ooh, look at his face. It's a busy day, to be sure. The more shoes I make for the fairies, the more gold I get. And nothing is more important than gold. Now, Finn had some experience with leprechauns, and he chose his words very carefully. A wise lookout, if I'm not mistaken, though, you may have missed a stitch. Dob dropped his hammer. Missed a stitch? He wagged a finger at Finn. Fancy yourself an expert, do you? Come with me. Dob led the way. Let's see. Oops. Dob led the way to a second leprechaun named Waddle. There's Waddle. He, too, was making shoes, a dainty pair with silk flowers lining the sides. What say you to these? Asked Dob. Has Waddle missed a stitch, too? Finn rubbed his chin. Well, his shoes are fine, assuming they'll only be worn in the dark. In the dark, cried Waddle. Where no one could see them, Finn explained. Both leprechauns turned a deep shade of red. Oh, they weren't happy, were they? Okay, let me make sure this is clear for you guys. Okay. The next day, Dob dragged Finn to 3 more leprechauns, and to 4 more the day after that. By week's end, Finn had seen shoes of every size and style, and for every fault, flaw, or defect that he mentioned, the angrier the leprechauns became. So he kept pointing out what was wrong with each shoe, and look how angry they got. Look at all those angry little leprechaun faces. They're very different than our little cheerful leprechaun over there. All right. Leprechauns are sensitive, Finn observed to his mother. And greedy, too, she added. But don't put my heart crossways by taking too many chances. There was a knock at the door from Dob. You're just in time for tea, said Finn. Dob snorted. It's not tea I'm after, it's you. Follow me. Uh-oh. Whoa, look at all that gold. Dob led the way to a field where all of the leprechauns stood waiting. As Finn approached, they moved back slowly to reveal a great big pile of gold. "We hardly could have gained all this," said Dob, "if our shoes were not the finest of their kind." "Impressive," said Finn. He could see that the leprechauns loved their gold dearly, so dearly that it just might be their undoing. "Perhaps," Finn went on, "if I saw all your shoes together, I might change my mind." "Yes, yes," the leprechauns agreed. They were sure that would make all the difference. "Tomorrow morning we will bring the shoes to the village square," they promised. Finn nodded. "I'll be counting on it," he said. Get all that gold. A gray dawn greeted the leprechauns as they arrived with their carts, their wheelbarrows, their sacks, and their bundles. The shoes were unpacked and laid out with care. Soon everything was ready, but while the leprechauns were there and the shoes were there, Finn was not. The leprechauns waited and waited. Let's see. The sky cleared before Finn finally appeared. "Sorry I'm late," he said, although he didn't sound sorry at all. Finn marched up and down the street. At some shoes, he stopped to point in astonishment. "Ah, At others, he simply clapped in delight. "A very impressive sight," he said finally. "I can see why you were proud of your treasure." Dob frowned. "Were proud?" he repeated. Are we not still proud of our gold?" "Well, you could be," said Finn, "if your gold hadn't suddenly disappeared." The leprechauns turned pale. Disappeared? Such a thing was beyond imagining. Still, it might be best just to make sure. Uh-oh, look what happened here. Can you believe this, leprechaun? Let's see. Empty. They found the field empty. "It must be here somewhere," Dob insisted. The leprechauns looked everywhere, behind hedges, under rocks, even in the trees. All night and into the dawn they searched through Dingle, their lanterns flickering like fireflies in the darkness. But it did them no good. All of their fairy gold, every last coin and nugget, was gone. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's see what they did here. In the morning, when the mist still lay heavy on the air, the leprechauns came pounding on Finn's door. "What have you done with our gold?" Dob demanded. Finn shrugged. "All is not lost, only safely tucked away. I'll make you a bargain. If you promise to leave Dingle and never trouble us again, I'll return your gold." It pained the leprechauns to admit defeat, but not as much as it would have hurt them to lose their gold forever. Reluctantly, they agreed to his terms. "Then we better be moving along," said Finn, looking up at the clearing sky. He led them back to their empty field. Oh, look at the field. At that moment, the sun came out and a rainbow fell from the sky. And there, where the rainbow met the grass, a great pile of gold suddenly appeared. The leprechauns stomped their feet. "You moved our gold to the end of the rainbow? And when the rainbow vanished, so did our gold." "Indeed," said Finn, "for it is fairy gold, and you told me, and fairies often use rainbows to move their gold about." "You tricked us," said Dob. Finn held up a hand. "The rainbow is back, and so is your treasure. Take it in peace while the rainbow holds, and remember our bargain." Uh-oh, the leprechauns got tricked. Finn went home to his mother, who after a good night's sleep baked him more loaves of soda bread, more than he could ever possibly eat. As for the leprechauns, they were heard grumbling at times about how Finn had outwitted them, yet they were secretly pleased as well. For if the truth be told, they've kept their gold at the end of the rainbow ever since. That was a cute story. So ever since Finn tricked them, that is where they've hid their gold, at the end of the rainbow. The end. That was a great book. Too Many Leprechauns, or How the Pot of Gold Got to the End of the Rainbow. Love that. Thank you so much for reading with us. Did you like that little leprechaun? I wonder where our leprechaun hides his gold. Maybe we'll have to go searching for it. That was a great book. Come again and read soon. Thanks, guys.